Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hey students, how are you all? I hope you all are fine and well. Dear students, I welcome you once again in Pakistan International School Types virtual learning system. And as you know, this is biology class for students of second year. Dear students, in this lecture, we will talk about a reduced syllabus which has been issued by FBISC, and that is for this session 2020 and 21. Dear students, I found some students found some ambiguities and the confusions regarding this reduced syllabus, because in the reduced syllabus which is given by FBISC, it is almost very clear, but some topics like some um, numbers of the topics which are given in that is confusing, because that is somehow changed from the prescribed book. So I like I want to make you clear about those topics, uh, and then we will start our next chapter, chapter number 25, that is man and his environment, and in that we will see biogeochemical cycles. So let's get started. Dear students, if you see your reduced syllabus, which has been prescribed by FBISA. So you can see in that there is mentioned and like top of the biology syllabus that all the topics are related, all the topics are related. MCQs and short question answers are included, which are included in your exercises. And as well as you know that not only from exercises you have to prepare your work, so MCQs and short question answers will be included from your given topics. That is very clear. And the information which are in the side boxes, that is excluded, whether that is related to the topic or not. So your book, so you must have book in front of you so that you can mark all those topics. Okay, so your book is started from chapter number 14, that is respiration. And this topic is in most of the chapters, which are the disorders, they are skipped, especially in first year. But in second year, just in homeostasis and reproduction, that disorders are included, except these all are excluded. So you can see, you might have seen that in the 14.1 properties of respiratory surfaces. But if you see in your book, maybe the book which you are having, that is the same one. If you are having the new edition, if not, then you can see here. Okay, this is chapter number 14, respiration. And if you see respiratory system of man, that is the first topic of this chapter, that is 14.1, respiratory system of man. and that is the subheading of this topic, properties of respiratory surface. But in this syllabus that is given, properties of respiratory is the first one and respiratory system is the second topic of this one. So you don't get confused of these numbers, but you have to just focus on these topics which are given um here in the reduced syllabus. That is almost very clear. In some points there is the confusion. Okay, the next way, air passageway and the lungs, that is not mentioned over there. It's mentioned. What is mentioned we will see: upper respiratory tract, lower respiratory tract, and the lungs, external structure of the lungs. This is all what is mentioned here. Air passageway and the lungs. So that is all the passageway up to the lungs. Mechanism of breathing, that is very clear. Transport of gases, that is also very clear. So that is the last topic of this chapter, which is included. All next are included in that. There are or we can see there are disorders in the lungs, respiratory disorders and respiratory pigments, so they are excluded from this chapter. So let's come to the next one, that is homeostasis. In homeostasis, you can see the first one is excretion, but in your book that is mechanism of homeostasis, so that is excluded. So excretion and relationship between excretory products and habitat. So that is about the organisms which are living in different like areas, in different habitats, and they have to um, like um, adjust their body water and excretory system. So that is on 15.3 in the book, in my book, but here it is in 15.2. So don't go to the these points, but you have to just focus on these topics. So in this, that is ammonia, urea, and uric acid, that is all will come here. The next excretory system of man, that is complete structure and function of kidney will come, and as well as disorders of urinary tract and kidney stones. After kidney stones, there are the topics which are like mentioned here, that is 15.4.2, but that is different here. But after kidney stones there is kidney failure, dialysis, so that is not included. Just focus on the one. Thermoregulation is also excluded. So up to causes and treatment of kidney stones, that topic is included. Here just focus on one thing, that for example, this is the main topic 15.4, and if just only written 15.4, it means all the subtopics of that, like 15.1 4.1 15.4.2 15.4.3, if just this one is mentioned, so all the subtopics of this topic will be mentioned um, automatically. So you have to go all the topics which is related, but here just 15.4.1 and 15.4.2 with the name it is mentioned, so you have to focus just on these two topics. And the next there is support and movement. In support and movement, structure of bone and structure of cartilage, that is not included. So it will start from human skeleton. So axial skeleton, appendicular skeleton, three types, the two types of skeletons, its bones and its all categories, they are included, as well as types of joints. Like the topic is joints, but the type of joints also under this one. like fibrous giants and cartilaginous giants, and these all will be mentioned here under this topic. Then the muscles, in muscles, smooth cardiac and skeletal muscles, that is separate topic of that. And in that there is the ultrastructure of skeletal muscles. Ultrastructure of skeletal muscles, if we go to that topic, so you can see here that is, I think so, page number 20 is there. So yes, this is the structure of kidney, that is hemostasis, and here we have to go in the next thermoregulatory strategies, 43. Then we will go to the next chapter, that is support and locomotion. If you see, human skeleton is not in this one, structure of bone is not included. And this is division of human skeleton. This topic is included here. Okay. And that all will be included up to appendicular skeleton, that joints, that is also included here, the fibrous joints, cartilaginous joints, and synovial joints. So disorders are not included, and bone fractures are not included, and one injuries are not included. What comes? Muscles, types of muscles, these are smooth cardiac and skeletal muscles are there. Okay, the structure of skeletal muscles. So when you will understand this structure of muscles, then you can go to ultrastructure of muscles. So you have to learn structure and ultrastructure. So ultrastructure, like that, comes all under the structure of skeletal muscles up to the all, as well as this muscle contraction in which sliding filament model is there, that is included, but this antagonistic arrangement is not included, that is excluded, as well as then muscle disorders, these are also excluded. So now we are moving to the next chapter, that is nervous coordination, in which in nervous coordination just neurons are included. And before that, there is another topic, that is steps involved in nervous coordination, that is not included. The points here, the numbers are changed. So after neurons there are nerve impulse. So in nerve impulse, all nerve impulse, its passageway, its process, all is included except this topic. This is subtopic of this chapter of this nerve impulse, so that is excluded. In synapse, all the subtopics of synapse are included. And in 17.4, basic organization of human nervous system, in that CNS and PNS are included, but sensory receptors and its function are excluded. So like we can say the basic organization of human structure, like brain, spinal cord, and PNS, all this somatic autonomic nervous system, these are all included in that. But sensory receptors, that is the last topic of this, and their working, as well as diagnostic tests, drugs and addiction drugs, narcotic tests, disorders, these are all excluded from here. Next, go to the chemical coordination, in which hormones, the chemical signals, its mode of action, these are all included, and its nature also included. So 18.2, that is a endocrine system, in which glands, all glands with location, secretions, imbalance, as well as role of hypothalamus, that is before the pituitary gland. The topic is before the pituitary gland. These all glands are included up to here, and its feedback mechanism also. After its feedback mechanism, there is we can see this. This is the end of the topic. It means in this chapter nothing is excluded. All the things are included. Next, reproduction. Okay, so look, this is chapter number 18. Chapter number 19 is excluded. That is about behavior. So that chapter is completely excluded from your syllabus, in reduced syllabus. Right now, for this session, only for the fresh students. So reproduction system of man, and like in that female and male reproductive system, its hormonal regulations and disorders, all the things are included. Okay, so here is one thing that after studying this one, there is the topic like disorder of reproductive system. In that, there are lots of subtopics: causes of male infertility, female infertility, treatment of infertility, in vitro fertilization, miscarriages. These all topics are included in disorders of reproductive system. Okay, so next one is sexually transmitted diseases of this topic, that is excluded. So in development and aging, embryonic development, which is started from cleavage, and the three main important steps of this embryonic development: cleavage, gastrulation, and neurulation, is included only. Neurulation is included, in which there is organogenesis. Under this topic, there is subtopic neurulation in human embryo, myroblast, gastrula, and neurulation, gastrulation. These are all included, as well as control of development, in which there are several experiments of Spearman and embryonic induction, that is excluded. So the next one, in human embryonic development, 21.3, that is the exact number which is in the book, that is included. And under that, there is some subtopics: development of human in first, second, and third trimesters. These are included. The placenta included, twins and quadruplet included, umbilical cord included, all up to fraternal twins. These are all included in this topic, which is human embryonic development. Okay, birth and nursing, that is excluded from this topic, as well as premature birth, lactation. These are all excluded. Disorders, all excluded. Aging, all excluded. So in inheritance, we are having Mendelian inheritance, incomplete inheritance, as well as codominance, then ABO blood group, RH blood group, as well as there is erythroblastosis fetalis, that is all are excluded. So just three topics are included: polygenic inheritance and epistasis. Under these, there are several subtopics, that is inheritance of human skin color, that is included, as well as their examples are included. Next, there is the topic of sex determinations, and in before that, there is a gene linkage, that and crossing over, that is excluded. So sex determination is included, and in that there is what we say, yes, there is a pattern of sex determination, that is also included. And then comes to the sex linkage. All subtopics of sex linkage are also included, like sex linkage in Drosophila in humans, as well as color blindness and muscular dystrophy and sex related traits, because these are the subtopics of this topic, so these are all included. So next chapter is chromosome and DNA, that in that DNA as the hereditary material. um, Before that, structure of chromosome and DNA, concept of gene that is present, that is excluded. But DNA as a hereditary material, that is 23.2, the exact number in which Griffith's experiment, these three experiments are there, the Hershey and Chase experiment, these are all included. Then go to the DNA replication. In that DNA replication, models of DNA replication will also be included, because that is under this topic, under this topic. So Bessel and Stall's experiment, mechanism of replication, in mechanism of replication, and after that gene expression, in that all the transcriptional central dogma, genetic code, translation, these all steps are included of gene expression. And then mutation, gene mutation or point mutation, that and chromosomal mutations all are included. So you can see here chapter 23 and then 25, there is 24 in between, so 24 is excluded, that is about evolution. In human, a man and his environment, biological, chemical, biogeochemical cycle. We'll start this chapter. We'll just take an introduction of this chapter. That is biogeochemical cycle. That is included in that water cycle and nitrogen cycle only. And the next all topics are excluded except this topic, that is ecological succession. That is included. Trophic levels and energy flow, these are all excluded from that. Then biotechnology. In biotechnology, cloning of gene, in that several subtopics are there. So these all subtopics are included. Like if we just take a look on that and just, if you see in gene cloning, there is recombinant DNA technology, and then mechanism or procedure of recombinant DNA technology. Then we are having polymerase chain reaction, that is called PCR, that is very familiar and very helpful regarding identification of coronavirus nowadays. So that reaction is also included, like that is the diagnostic technique. And other one is genomic library, that is also included in this. Okay, then we will go to DNA sequencing. DNA sequence is the next of this one, that is gel electrophoresis. Phoresis, that is also included, its steps all are included, because these are the subtopics of this main topic. But excluded here is the main topic is excluded, that is automated DNA sequencing, that is excluded. But all the DNA sequencing techniques are included. Then DNA analysis, that is not included. None of that subtopic is included. Genome analysis, that is not included. Then we will come to tissue culture, that is included. Transgenic bacteria, plants, and animals, that is the next topic of that, that is included, and all the subtopics of that included. Biotechnology and healthcare, in which then we will study about role of biotechnology for the treating of different diseases and scope of biotechnology. This is the last topic of this one. These all topics are included, because this is very important chapter regarding new technology and diagnostic tests and techniques which are used in laboratories. Dear students, the last chapter of this one, that is biology and human welfare, that is completely excluded. So it means chapter number 7 is also included. So if you see, almost half of the book is excluded, including 3 complete chapters. So that is too much easier to prepare like your second year in this session. So I think now the whole confusions and queries which you are having in your mind, that are very, very clear. But if you are having the any question regarding this, you are having my Zoom ID, so you can contact me over there. Okay, so let's start our chapter number 25, and that is about biogeochemical cycle. We'll just take its introduction today. In biogeochemical cycle, that is actually the flow of chemical elements and compounds between living and physical environment, like between biotic and abiotic factors. When these all chemical, these all compounds, or these all materials are circling around, like they are utilizing and they are producing again, they are being produced again. So they are rotating in the environment as a cyclic form. So that is called biogeochemical cycles. So you can see here, materials are consuming out and just moving out in the atmosphere, then again by the living organisms they are consumed again. So for biogeochemical cycle, first we have to make our concept clear about primary reservoirs of nutrients. Like their reservoir means we can say the accumulation, compilation, and storage of lots of nutrients at places, various places. So primary reservoir of nutrients, you can make your concept clear by this given chart, or that is called the model. Here we are having 4 reservoirs, A, B, C, and D. One main thing is that the transfer of elements between the reservoir, that depends upon 2 things or 2 characteristics, that whether the reservoir contains organic or inorganic material, and number 2, whether or not the materials are directly available or indirectly available for the use of organisms. So here we can see in reservoir A. In reservoir A, if we see that nutrients which are present in the living organism, they are organic material which are available as nutrients in living organisms, and detritus, like means in the wastage of form. When the organisms feed and utilize them and just consumed by detrivores. Detrivores means decomposers. So they change into non-living material. Like that is utilized, and now they are gonna again change into, move into soil and water and atmosphere in the inorganic form. So if we see in reservoir B, that is also organic material, but that is not present in the living organism, but that is made from the living organism reservoirs that is fossilized millions of years ago under the ground, that are buried under the ground, that is sedimentation of or millions of years, so which become coal, oil and peat. These are also fossil fuels and organic compounds. So organic compound form change into organic compound, but this is directly available, but this is indirectly available. So let's come to inorganic forms. In reservoir 3, there are lots of inorganic materials which are present in atmosphere, soils and water, and that is available for the use of living organisms directly. So that is the direct use of the inorganic salts to the organic material, like to the living organisms. They form it in the like glucose form, and carbohydrates and like organic material from that, like that is done by photosynthesis and assimilation. Then that is, we can say, when these inorganic compounds are changed into organic materials, so these organic material are moved into again inorganic reservoir via respiration, decomposition as well as excretion in a very rapid way. So when we see the reservoir D, so that is completely inorganic material as well as abiotic, non-living, in which minerals which are present in the rocks, they are available, and they are available through weathering and erosions. So through weathering and erosions, they are changed into, or they moved into atmosphere, soil and water, and this again, after millions of years of sedimentation, they form the rocks again. So that is very slow process, and that is faster process. As well as unavailable organic materials move into available reservoir. This is unavailable right now, like it takes millions of years, so it is available into the inorganic reservoir or inorganic nutrients reservoir, where fossil fuels are burned and released into the atmosphere. So this atmosphere, from atmosphere they will again move into the living organisms, they assimilate over there, and again after burying them after millions of years, so they will again change into coal and oil. So that is indirectly used, that is also indirectly used, that is directly but the slow process. So we can say that two characteristics like organic materials, like materials and nutrients are present in organic and inorganic form, as well as they are available, some available in direct form and some are available in indirect form. So that's it for today, my dear students. I hope you found it very informative. So inshallah, in the next lecture, we will continue biogeochemical cycle, in which we'll see water cycle and nitrogen cycle. Wish you all the best. Allah Hafiz.